Hello, everybody. I want to go through and start nice and easy with your first assignment on this first day of online learning. So instead of going to the new topic in chapter 7, we're going to spend a day going over a topic that we did in the week and a half before we were gone on break. So this is section 6.6. You should already have these notes. These are just filled in notes that I'm going to talk through. I want to review five main things that we did back in 6.6, which were the four basic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of polynomial expressions, and then composition of functions. So I'm going to go through and just kind of scroll through these notes while they're on my screen, make this a very short video just as a refresher. And then when you're done watching this video, the assignment for today will be a Delta Math assignment. Since you're used to it, probably ones that you already did, maybe some sections that you've seen before. There are a couple composition sections that may be new for you. And then that will be your assignment for the next class. As you're working on Delta Math, if you're running into a problem, another thing to keep in mind is most of the Delta Math sections now come with help videos. You can go through, you can watch the help videos. I actually get a note that says that you've watched the help videos, how many you've watched, how long you've watched them. In addition to that, you always have the option to look at example questions, skip questions, try different ones, and see what you need to work on. So hopefully it takes the pressure off. So 6.6, we talked about the four basic operations of polynomials, and we started with adding. I'm not going to talk about domain restrictions. We did that together, but that's something that I'm not going to put on the Delta Math assignment. So I'm going to go straight to the ones where you actually had to go through and work through your operations. So addition was the easiest. The nice thing about addition, order doesn't matter, parentheses aren't necessary. All you're doing is looking for like terms and then you're adding them together. And once you have that together, that is your final answer. So the first example that I have here, the f of x plus g of x, that's all you're doing is you're adding your x terms and your constant terms. When it comes to subtraction, the one thing that we talked about in class was you have to remember to distribute the negative sign. And usually that is the number one mistake that students make, is messing up a sign issue. So it helps to put parentheses around the second function. So in this case, g of x minus f of x, put the parentheses around that second function. And that hopefully serves as a reminder that that negative sign in front of the parentheses distributes through. Once you do that, it's just like adding. You're going to combine your like terms, and whatever you're left with you is your final answer. For multiplying, we can multiply two different functions. You can multiply a function by itself. When you're multiplying, you're going to be distributing, you're going to be foiling a lot. Some have very big foiling ones that we talked about, kind of organizing it in different ways. But the biggest thing is that you're multiplying all of the terms from one function by all of the terms from the other. If it helps to draw arrows, you can do that. So I have a couple examples here: g of x times f of x. The nice thing is the order that you multiply them doesn't matter, and that's foiling. And then f of x times itself, that's also foiling. You want to combine like terms to get your final answer. Delta Math usually asks for a standard form answer, meaning the highest exponent should go first and then decreasing down. With division, very often you don't have to do a lot of work with division. There are a couple on Delta Math that you do have to factor either the numerator or the denominator and see if you can get a factor to cancel. If you have the exact same factor on the top and the bottom, for example, let's say there was an x plus 2 on the top and an x plus 2 on the bottom, you are allowed to cancel those out. Other than that, there's not much work with division. I'm not going to get into the domain restrictions because the Delta Math doesn't. The biggest thing is that you're just putting things in the right place. So we did several examples that day of all the operations. We did more addition, more multiplication, more division, and we practiced that a lot. And overall, I thought you guys did a great job with it. So hopefully this is a nice thing to review. Then we went into composition of functions. Give me a second to pull that up. So composition of functions was when you were putting one function inside another. We talked about doing multiple operations. The big example in real life was the shopping example. What if you had 20% off and you also had $10 off? The order in which you apply those discounts does change your final answer. So we went through and talked about what does it mean? What does it look like? And we did two different types of problems. We did problems where you were putting an entire function inside another function. So I had some examples of that. The notation that I like to use, this f of g of x, some people call it the fog notation. They put a little zero, the kind of a degree symbol between the f and the g. So what this means, you always work inside out, is that your g function is going into your f function where the x is. So you're going to take this 5x plus 3 and put it where you see the x. Parentheses are really important for this because it allows you to keep that inner function kind of as a one unit that travels together. You may have to distribute. You may have to combine like terms. You may even have to FOIL. Same thing over here, but this is going in the opposite order. So you're going to get a different answer. This is taking your f function, which is 2x, and putting it where you see the x in the other function. Again, using parentheses helps, but then you see that you can multiply it together and then the parentheses are not necessary anymore. We also do numeric ones, which I am going to put a section on Delta Math reviewing that. I thought it was ones that you guys did well with. We talked about how you have an in between answer and a final answer. Your in between answer is starting with this inner value and putting it into the function that's right next to it. So putting 3 into the g function. So putting 3 right here where you see the x. You can use a calculator for this. You can use parentheses, especially if it's negative. If it's not negative, the parentheses aren't as important. That is your in between answer, that 18. And then you're going to take that answer and put it into this outer function, which is saying f. So you're going to put 2 times 18. And then 36 is what I call your final answer after you've done both compositions. Same thing here. You're putting -1 into the f function to get your in between answer. And then you're putting that answer into your g function to get your final answer. Now on Delta Math, they only want the final answer. So you're probably maybe have a piece of scrap paper next to you where you're working it out. But the only thing you're putting in is the final answer. If you're composing functions with in terms of x on Delta Math, they expect a simplified answer. So they want to see if you have to distribute something that you do that before you type in your answer. And again, you can watch a video and you can look at some extra examples if that helps you. This was going through and doing 2x plus 3, which is your g function, and putting it into the f function. So that involves squaring it. So I wrote it twice, I FOILed it together, and then I combined like terms. That would be the answer that they would expect online. This is going the other way, putting x squared into the g function, and you'll see that one didn't really have any work with it. And often that happens where one way that you do it, one order is a very different answer than the other and may have more work than another way. Then we went through some more numeric ones. All of these you should already have done, but it's nice to hear my voice and talk through them. So work inside out, put 0 into G, and then put that answer into F. 9 is your final answer. This one, watch your negative. When you put a negative in and square it, you get a positive 16, and then put 16 in to get your final answer of 35. And we did all of these together in class. We also did one that was a word problem. I'm not sure if there's good Delta Math ones like this or not. Maybe not, but it's definitely worth me kind of having a very quick conversation. With the sales ones, the idea is the order that they apply the discounts will change the final cost. So we looked at the one on your test, what had something to do with buying an iPhone and had different discounts. This one is buying hair products. So you have a $10 off coupon. You also have a 15% off coupon. Now, if you get 15% off, that means you're actually paying 85%. That's why 0.85 is listed here. So if we do the coupon first, we're buying $50 worth of products. You take 50 minus the $10 coupon to get 40. And then your discount, you would take 40 times the 85% that you pay, or 0.85, use a calculator, you would pay $34. If you go the other way and do the percent off first, you would take your $50 worth of product times 0.85, 85%, would be $42.50. And then you'd apply the coupon minus 10, you get $32.50. And the question was, what's the better deal and how much? And in this case, you see that this second option, doing the percent first and then the coupon, is a better deal only by $1.50, but $1.50 is better than nothing. So that was section 6.6. Great place for us to kind of start our process and have that conversation, something you've already done. So hopefully this gets you used to what's happening. As we start doing new material, I'm going to do very similar things. However, I will chunk it a little bit more and not try to do as much in one day, just so that you get a chance to practice a particular skill over that day and not many, many skills at the same time. So that is day one. Hopefully, you're comfortable. If you have questions, reach out to me. Jump on Delta Math and get that assignment done. It will be due the next time that we meet, and I will put those grades in as you turn them in. Have a great day. Enjoy. Be safe. Wash your hands, and we'll talk soon.